Welcome back to Let's Have It Out. We continue our conversation with the DA Youth Federal Leader, Luyolo Mphithi. Just before the break, you kind of made an error referring to the NYDA salary bill, which actually sits at 35%. The NYDA actually has 4 consecutive clean audits as an organization, and one of the things that it has actually done was to reduce the salary bill. However, the Western Cape government, which you are very proud of, has a youth development institution which has not been able to rise up to the...
Give me an opportunity to finish your last question that you had asked. So as I was saying, is that I have not made an error.
Yes.
The NYDA has spent 104 million rand on administration costs. This comes from the financial report of the 18-19 financial year, by the way.
Yeah.
Further to that, 170 million rand has been spent on salaries. This is 71% of the 446 million rand budget that was given to the NYDA.
I'm not sure where you're coming from.
Now, let me continue. Let me finish my point.
There are facts right here in front of us.
Hold on, let me finish my point. My point is this.
Remember, you cannot just make a point which is not
But you cannot ask me a question and not expect me to answer.
First and foremost, you are speaking about an 1819 report which is not there. The only report that is there, which is adopted by Parliament, your own members of Parliament, represented by Mr. Kasim, have actually welcomed this particular report. And I'm saying to you that your facts are not correct because the salary bill is actually sitting at 34%. Now, I'm saying to you that it cannot be the role of the DAU to purely say that the only problem in South Africa is the NYDA. What have you been doing to advance the youth agenda in this country?
Now, let me clarify a few points before we move on to that. We have been doing a few things. Now, the first thing is this. The parliamentary committee of which you report to has indicated to you not so long ago, 2 weeks ago, that the NYDA is spending too much money on salaries and not on youth opportunities. Those are the issues that young people need to understand. When we look at programs, let's talk about your programs.
Because the committee that you are referring to has adopted this annual report. And I'm saying to you
have they adopted it with no question?
Report actually tells you that the NYDA spends less than 78 million on salary. It's right here. I can show it to you. So I'm saying that
I have the report as well.
When you talk,
and that's not
talk about something that is factual, and I'm saying to you, this is signed by the presidency in the country. I'm asking you the question.
Report.
What is the role of the DA youth in advancing youth agenda without necessarily referring to the NYDA? We're here to talk about the DA youth, by the way.
So the point is this. You cannot divorce the struggles of young people from an institution that receives millions of rands from government and fails to deliver from young people. That's the first point you need to understand. Now, let's talk about the issues of what is facing young people in this country. Young people are disenchanted and disillusioned by politics in this country because our politicians don't have integrity. They are liars. And these are politicians that are coming from the ANC, the president who lied in Parliament not so long ago about the payment made by Bosasa. These are the issues that young people feel that they cannot vote because they feel that our politicians are liars. But you are a political party. You are a political party. If you say that young people out there don't have confidence in politicians, are you saying young people out there don't have confidence in you? Now, what I'm saying is, we're talking about politicians.
Yes.
I am a politician. It has nothing to do with
young
that.
People don't have confidence in you.
Does it mean because I'm a politician I must not say that politicians are liars?
So are you saying that you're a liar?
It doesn't.
Just hold on there. We have a caller on the line. Let's hear from our caller. We have Anonymous calling from Johannesburg. Hi, Anonymous. And what is your question or comment?
Hi, how are you doing, guys?
Very well. How are you?
Thank you for the opportunity. You know, it just baffles me to see 2 young men in studio going at each other like how you guys are doing. You guys are supposed to be discussing the youth issues, but by the way you guys are going on, I'm just thinking that's why maybe the youth is where it is now, you know, because this is supposed to be about the youth. It doesn't matter which political party you come from, but to me now it seems like it's a debate between the DA person and the ANC person. Let's discuss the youth issues, guys. You know what I mean? And also, we must try and move away when we're discussing such issues. Move away from politics. Let's discuss exactly what is affecting the youth. You know what I mean? Because once we start involving and including politics, you end up, you know, going at each other like how you're going now. I'm telling you, a 19-year-old won't be listening to you guys. A 19-year-old will just wake up, stand up, or change the channel to music channel.
All right, thank you very much.
All I want to hear from you guys.
Point. Thank you very much. And I think Anonymous is raising a very important point. For instance, one of the things that faces young people in this country is a very important phenomenon of youth unemployment. And probably, as youth structures in South Africa, we should be concerned about the well-being of young people. And one of the things that we should be doing is to say, as the DA Youth, as the ANC Youth League, as the EFF, let's come together and say, here is the solution that we can do to face young people. What is your view on that?
Definitely, that's something that I agree with. I think youth unemployment has been a major issue. It's a ticking time bomb in this country. More and more young people are unemployed on a daily basis. So what we need to be talking about here is that when it comes to the youth agenda, we need to be having conversations. We need to open up these spaces for intergenerational engagements. And those things are not happening. We are having decisions being taken on behalf of young people without engagement, without consultation. So how do we bring those spaces of engagement within the space where young people can actually bring their views and say, this is what I think we must do when it comes to youth unemployment, when it comes to entrepreneurship. How do we benefit in terms of these programs that government has?
And what becomes the DA's youth's proposal for us to actually decisively deal with the issue without necessarily going into the politics, without necessarily even, speaking from different corners? You're making a point about bringing everybody together. Have we actually started doing that? If not, what is it that you guys have been doing to try and forge that particular closer relation?
So one of the most important things that we need to be doing for young people is to be giving them skills. And I think these are one of the programs that we focused on in the DA, to say that in the city of Cape Town, in the city of Johannesburg, we've opened opportunity centers where young people are able to go into those opportunity centers, receive skills like how to write a CV, how to write a business proposal, so that they can get into entrepreneurship, because we want young people to be able to employ their sisters and their brothers. But those particular centers have been there. In fact, we'll come back to that. Let's hear from one of our viewers who asked on social media, what do you think the role of the youth will be in the 2019 general elections? We've got Garth on Facebook who says, and I quote, nothing. The youth will oversleep on that day, still be drunk, and if it rains a bit, they will definitely rather vote next time. Close quote. Thank you, Garth, for your comment. Well, here's another point, that young people are increasingly becoming more detached. They don't really get to understand the fact that the democratic processes of our country means that they need to participate in the voting of our country. In the last local government elections, we saw a slight decline in the votes. You've spoken about youth centers that have been opened. You've spoken about areas where young people can be skilled. But we continue to see the unemployment rate go up. We continue to see that even young people with skills actually get left outside. Now, I want to ask you a pointed question. What is your view about the scrapping of experience for entry-level jobs for young people? So the decision made by the minister, I think yesterday, is something that we welcome. But I think there's something that we need to say about this particular thing, is that there's many policies that have been implemented for the benefit of young people. But the problem that always comes up is implementation. The implementation of these policies never meets the young person on the ground. We look at the employment tax incentive that was implemented in 2014. How many young people have benefited from that? Not many. So my only point is this: with this thing that we very much welcome, we don't want experience to stop young people from getting jobs. But at the same time, we need government to be implementers. Now, they are not implementers. Why? Because when you have a corrupt state, there is no way in hell that you can implement adequate policy that meets young people on the ground.
Okay, let's just hold on. We have a caller. We have my namesake, Sifiso from Johannesburg, on the line. How's Sifiso, and what is your question and comment?
Good evening there, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I would like to address Comrade Sifiso directly on this one here. Comrade Sifiso.
Yes.
I think you would agree with me that the youth vote is a very important vote going into the 2019 general elections.
Yes.
You even said yourself that a majority of the electorate in the upcoming elections is the youth itself. Now, Comrade Sifiso, before we look at the general elections coming up in May or June next year, we first need to start by looking at the ANC Youth League itself. The current Youth League, led by Comrade Colin Maine, is an illegitimate body to be taking the youth into the 2019 general elections. The league should have held this conference between the 18th to the 21st of October this year. But to this day, no conference in sight. Now, my question to you, comrades, is when are we going to have that conference?
Well, thank you very much, Sifiso, for your question. Indeed, the ANC Youth League will be going to its own national conference starting next month in December, and I'm sure that it will undergo its own renewal process. But I think there's another point that Sifiso raises, which is quite important, to say that what becomes you know, the role of youth movements in mobilizing young people. I mean, for instance, you spoke about corruption, right? Corruption cuts across. For instance, when we started the show, you spoke about removal of mayors in your party that are corrupt. Now, what has been the role of your youth structure? But we'll come back to that. We just quickly need to take a break, and we'll come back after this.